Hi there, Internet! So, this video is going to be the first on a series of videos that I am calling Ren Rants. The name is thought of by my very clever friend, Sydney. She's the bomb, by the way. And since this is my inaugural video, on a channel that has been quite a few things over the years, I feel the need to describe it a little bit. So basically, I'm a very opinionated person. I'm a political science major at Seattle University with a specialization in legal studies, and I'm planning to double major on either economics or business. I haven't decided because I hate math. So that's a little about me. Basically, these videos are going to be completely unscripted. I'm not writing anything I say beforehand. I'm only going to do one take unless I fuck up monumentally, because I think it's important to get my thoughts out here as organically as possible, because I feel like if I script it or write it down or edit it, I'll filter out a lot of my thoughts and worry a lot more about my word choice than my message, so I'd rather just say what I have to say, as it were. So, as an inaugural video, I guess I will start with a very prevalent issue in my life and in the life of most women, and that is sexual harassment! Yay! So, I have two jobs. One, I work in a boutique selling high-end skincare products. The other one, I work on the weekends in large retail outlets selling very specific brands of computers and printers and the like, as a representative for those brands. So I'm kind of an independent contractor. Like, I rep the brand in the store but don't actually work for the store. And I have a base store where I go every Saturday and work between 5 to 7 hours a day, excuse me. And when I first started this job, I was 18. I'm 19 now, so as a lot of you will say, oh, she's just a baby. Yeah, I'm pretty young. I've only been in the workforce for about 3 years. Most of my jobs have been retail, although I did canvas for a non-profit for a little over a month. That was an interesting change of pace, but there'll be more on that later. Probably another video. So this job, though, I've had for almost a year now, and there is another employee at my base store. Let's call him Frank. Now, Frank is probably in his 50s. He's been working at the store for a while. He seems to get along pretty well with his coworkers, and he seems like a bro. But once you get to know Frank, you start to realize that he is I don't really know how to put this. Basically, once I got to know Frank, I realized Frank was attracted to me. The thing is, I'm not attracted to Frank. Frank is old enough to be my grandfather. I have no interest in interacting with that at all in that way. Like, I mean, he's in my eyes, he's just a coworker. I don't mind talking to him. He seems like a nice enough guy, except he will not stop flirting at me. And I say at me because I have never reciprocated, and I'm not interested. And he's made implications that he's interested several times, and I've shut him down because I'm not interested. I'm not interested in a man old enough to be my father, and I'm not interested in a man that hits on me in this particular manner anyway. So, for the last year, Frank has made some pretty inappropriate comments to me, at me, about me. He's hit on me, he's talked about his sex life in my presence, he's brought it up in casual conversation several times, he's asked me invasive questions, he's asked me about my boyfriends, if I have one, if I don't, if I'd like to go out with him, and every time I shut him down and awkwardly try to avoid talking about the subject further, because I'm worried about hurting his feelings. Yes, that is why it took me a year to report this to my supervisor. It took me a year because I was worried that I might be misreading him, or that I might be overreacting to his advances. And I've been getting angrier at men lately. Not at all men, by any means. You know, I have lots of male friends that I love, and they're good people, and they're good men, and they know how to treat women, and they're not misogynists, and they respect me as a person, and they're wonderful people. I am not by any means saying that all men are like this. But the men that are like this, I don't know if I'm just noticing it more, or if there are actually more of them appearing every day, but every single day there is something that happens. And it's always either very overt or very subtle. But it's very clear that a lot of men do not see me as a person. And that is becoming more and more clear with Frank. And Frank today asked me out again. Or he said, well, what would you say if I asked you out? And I said, I'd say no, because you're pretty old, and it's not really appropriate for you to be hitting on a 19-year-old. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll tell my girlfriend she has nothing to worry about. I'm just like, okay. And then later he walks up to me and he goes, you know, if we did go out, I'd only take you out to dinner, and then we'd talk, and then I'd drive you home, so you just lost out on a great free meal. Now, my issue with this is, even though he didn't, like, exactly proposition me for sex, although I mean, I don't know what he's implying, because in a previous conversation he immediately, before he asked me out, he brought up having sex outdoors in casual conversation when we were talking about video games. Yeah, he was saying, well, being in the outdoors is a lot better, and I was like, yeah, I mean, outdoorsiness is fine. I mean, the sun and I don't get along, because I'm incredibly fair-skinned and I burn, but I like camping, I like hiking, I like the outdoors. He's like, yeah, you know, what else is awesome is having sex outdoors, you know, by a burbling brook in the forest with some does by the water. And it's like, this is at work. We are on the clock. We are not in the break room. We are not friends having this conversation. We are co-workers at work with customers walking around, and he brings us up in conversation and then almost immediately asks me out on a date. And not only is it massively inappropriate, but it also felt very predatory. I'm a young girl. I'm technically still a teenager. I just finished my freshman year of college. I have no interest in this older man. This is not the first time he's you know, made an advance on me like this. And it's not the first time I've said no. And so the fact that he came back after and tried to reopen the issue, and after I had said no, it was too much. It crossed the line. It really did. And no, he didn't touch me. He's never tried to kiss me or slap my ass or anything. But this behavior is not acceptable behavior in the workplace. And honestly, I would argue it's not acceptable behavior at all. Now, it's one thing to ask someone out for a drink or for dinner and them just saying no, and then you drop it. Especially in a situation like this, where you are asking someone so much younger than you, and so much less experienced or whatever than you, to share this particular experience. Because the thing is, I have made it very clear I'm not interested in him in a romantic way. I've made it clear I'm at work, I'm not dressed sexy, and even if I was, that's not an excuse. I'm at work to do my job. I'm not at work to hook up with some old guy. I'm not at work to hook up with some young guy. I'm at work to do my fucking job. That is all I want to do. I want to talk to customers. I want to rep my brand. I want to sell my product, and I want to go home. That is all I desire out of my workday. And so his uninvited advances are not something I should have to deal with at work. And so finally today, I called my supervisor at my the independent company I'm with, and she agreed to get in contact with the store I was in, and she, bless her heart, she took me very seriously and handled it immediately. She's wonderful. I could not ask for a better boss. And so I'm reporting this person, and the thing is, I know a lot of people are going to be angry at me. In fact, the reason I didn't report it before was because I was scared my coworkers would think I'm a prude, or think I'm attacking this guy because I'm not into him, or something like that. And so I was so worried about what my coworkers would think, and I was also worried about hurting this person's feelings. So I didn't report it. for such a long time. And then today, I realized if I don't report it, if I don't say something about this, then any other female coworker he hits on, or if he does actually assault someone, I'm not saying he did, I'm not saying he will, I want to make that super clear. But if this happened, and it is in the realm of possibility, 1 in 3 women is, sexually assaulted in her lifetime, I feel like it would be partially my fault. Not that I'm accountable for his actions, but that when I see a problem and something is happening to me and I feel like it's something that's going to hurt someone else, I have an obligation to say something. The old Crime Watch slogan, see something, say something. Well, I saw something. I was the target of something. And if I don't say something, and if every other woman who is treated this way doesn't say something, then we are allowing it to happen. We are making it permissible to do this. We are perpetuating this culture almost as much as the men are. Now, just to be super clear, if you are raped, if you are assaulted, if someone says something to you that makes you feel unsafe, you are not responsible for that. It is not your fault. The only thing you're responsible for is to report it. For the love of God, say something. 95% of rapes go unprosecuted, and most rapists are serial rapists. If you don't say something, it could happen to someone else too. And so I feel like we have a responsibility to take care of that, and to look out for other women, and to vocalize when we see something happening to another woman and to ourselves. And the thing is, a lot of people make this seem like, this is a small issue, whatever, you should feel flattered, he's interested in you. Because clearly the only thing a woman can want to do is be a hot piece of ass for a man. And now, see, I'm wearing makeup, I have my hair and my nails done, I work out, I like to wear nice clothes, I like to look as attractive as I can. That does not mean I am inviting people to say these things to me, or to attack me, or to do anything to me. I am expressing myself through my appearance, and try to be the best version of myself I can. That is not an invitation to grope me, that's not an invitation to look at my ass. And you know what? Looking at my ass is harmless. Your eyes, they wander, whatever, I mean, girls are hot, butts are hot, that's great. But I don't want you to comment on it. I don't need you to tell me my ass looks great. I don't need you to make some disgusting sexual comment while I'm trying to walk down the street, because I'm not interested. If I wanted you to comment on my body, I would invite you to comment on my body, but I don't. And now the thing is, if I dress nice, or if I'm wearing anything even remotely revealing, like even a little low cut, or a little bit tight, people will say, well, you're asking for it. But when a man walks down the street shirtless, he's not asking for anything. He's just walking down the street. So why is it that when women change their clothes, we're asking for something, when a man just can wear whatever he wants? And I saw another video of someone that was a great thing to quote. It's, maybe we should start asking people instead of their clothes. And I think that's a good point. And I think another thing that I saw that was pretty good is silence does not mean consent. And the thing is, silence is often taken as consent. And it's getting to be such a ridiculous issue. And it is something women face every day, is these unwanted sexual advances from men. And it makes me feel unsafe. It makes almost all women feel unsafe. If you're riding the bus home alone at night, and some guy makes a sexual comment and then gets off at the same stop as you, you're probably scared. I know I am. Anytime that happens to me, I put my keys between my knuckles, and I have a Swiss Army knife in my other hand, and I walk home in fear. And that happens to me all the time. Yesterday, I'm walking down the street, I picked up some prescriptions from Rite Aid, I'm wearing jeans and a baggy tank top, it's like 90 degrees, it's way too hot, I am not in a great mood, I'm slouched, I'm just frumping home. And this guy, as I'm walking by, just looks me up and down and goes, yeah, thick. Really? Really? Okay, I have a big ass, I know. Thanks for pointing it out, bro. And of course when I called him out, this man got really angry, but the thing is, that's not okay. I'm just walking down the street. I didn't ask you to comment on me. You're a complete stranger. I have no desire to have sex with you or any interest in anything even remotely sexual with you. I don't even want to be friends with you because you're some random perv. Appreciating a woman's body is totally fine, but vocalizing it and in a degrading and disrespectful way is not. And a lot of people are like, oh, take it as a compliment. No. A compliment is, you look really pretty today, not, yeah, that ass. That is not a compliment. It's objectification. I'm a person who happens to apparently have a nice butt. Awesome. Good for anyone I'm interested in. And this happens all the time. And it's not like I'm some irresistible sex goddess. I'm just a normal girl. I try to look as pretty as I can because it's a thing, but I'm not some irresistible celebrity goddess. I'm just a completely ordinary person, just walking down the street trying to do my thing, run my errands, and live my life. I don't need your commentary. No woman is asking for your commentary. If she is, she'll ask for it. And I remember this other time. I'm sitting at a bus stop. I'm reading my book. I'm waiting for the bus to pick me up to go to work at this same job, actually. I was only 18 at the time, so I'm sitting there reading my book, and this old drunk guy comes up with his friend, and he leans against the side of the wall where the little benches is kind of like, temporary enclosure that bus stops have. And he looks me up and down and turns to his friend and says, I know what I like better, them lips are dad ass, but they both fat. How is that acceptable? No one else said anything when he said this. I didn't even say anything, because I was scared that, he's drunk, he could get violent, he could hurt me, and everyone around me was so complacent, I didn't feel safe saying anything. So I just sat there while my face turned red, and I felt just shamed by this random man I didn't know. And this happens to me all the time. I wouldn't say every day, but at least once or twice a week this happens to me. And this happens to my friends, all of them, varying degrees of attractiveness. I have some beautiful friends, I have some, average but wonderful people friends. They all experience this on a regular basis. It's not what we're wearing, it's not what we have on our face, it's not how we look. It's someone trying to assert dominance by making these comments and these unwanted sexual advances. It's not about sexual gratification, it's about power. And these men feel like they have power and entitlement to say whatever they want about my body or my appearance. And while this seems like a minor issue, it's very destructive. It is. It leads people to do other things. And the thing is you feel judged and shamed and unsafe, and I just want to run away whenever anyone treats me like this, and sometimes I can't. Sometimes I'm a captive audience to this kind of hate. Sometimes I'm on the bus, and I can't get off because it's not my stop and I don't want to walk a mile home. Sometimes I'm just sitting, or I'm walking, or I'm shopping, or I'm doing something, or I'm working, and I'm not asking for this treatment, and it comes at me anyway. Not every day, but all the time. And it's not okay. And it's not okay to ignore it, and it's not okay to be silent, because if you're silent, you're condoning it. And that's what I did. When I sat on that bus stop, and I didn't say a thing, and I let this man say whatever he wanted to me, or about me, and objectify me, I basically said it was okay. Because silence is taken as consent. And whether that's what I intended, it is how it is perceived. And so I'm not going to be silent anymore. So I made this video, and I reported the person who's been sexually harassing me at work, and I do feel empowered. I feel like I'm taking I'm taking a direct stance against this kind of behavior, and I feel like that's important. And I feel like all women need to start standing up and talking about this. And that's why I think Yes All Women is an important movement. Because when you see that, when you see hundreds of thousands of stories like this pouring in from all these women, you realize you're not alone. You realize if this is happening to all women, it can't be my fault. If this is happening to everyone, it's a broken system, and it's a system that needs to be fixed. And so, talking about the issue is what's going to change it, and that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I would encourage all of you to do. And for anyone who watched this video, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not saying men are all scummy bastards and, women should reign supreme or anything. Although, I think we could probably run things a little better. I'm just saying, you need to think about your actions. Men, you need to think about your actions. Women, don't be silent. Don't let men treat you that way. Because if no one tells them what they're doing is wrong, they're not going to figure it out. And a lot of it is this nature versus nurture thing. And a lot of them are raised with the idea that women are subservient, that it's okay to objectify us, it's okay to treat us this way, and they're entitled to our bodies, they're entitled to our appearance, and all of this stems from that idea. And if we don't start fighting back and saying this is not okay, this is not how you treat a person, and yes, I am a person, then it's gonna keep happening. And we've made so much progress, we just have to keep talking. We just have to keep talking, and we have to correct people when they're wrong, and when they behave like that. Because otherwise, it's never gonna change, and if we want to change things, we have to talk. So, that's what I'm doing. This, I guess, is a conclusion to my first rant. Yeah, I think I'll start posting these every couple of days. So tell me what you think in the comments, and ladies, share, in the comments, share one instance where something like this has happened to you, and what you did about it, or what you're going to do about it in the future. And yeah, well, thank you for your time. Bye.